you're welcome, Mrs. Eniola Peters. It's a great privilege to have you join us this evening. I can see you're ready. Yeah, you're ready. I'll just go on to quickly introduce our guest. So our guest is Mrs. Eniola Peters, and she's the visionary founder of the Kaiyu Ministry, which is dedicated to empowering women to become the best version of themselves, modeled after the Proverbs 31 woman. And her primary mission is to help women fulfill their God given potential. And she's so passionate about supporting women in their relentless efforts to do so. She's also a seasoned HR professional with over 15 years of experience, and her innovative HR and career development strategies, CEO of Med Consult. So her sole purpose in life is basically to help women to be who God has called them to be. And she's committed to making a positive impact in the lives of both young girls and also women at large. She's also an inspirational speaker, a role model, and she's committed to becoming an agent of change in communities. And her ministry, called the Kaiyu Lady Empowerment Initiative, has become a leading platform for women empowerment, where she provides support, resources, and opportunities for women to grow. She's also passionate about leading the Radiant Ruby Circle, which is a mentorship program designed to nurture young women to reach their full potential. Mrs. Eniola is also the chairlady of Women in Career Advancement Network, where she is committed to fostering positive change and making a meaningful impact in the lives of women to make them next generation leaders. How many things does Mrs. Eniola do? You can see that she's a powerhouse, and with her wealth of experience and expertise, she's going to be sharing this conversation on is romance overrated. Please, in the comments, let's give her a round of applause. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you so much.
You have the floor. So just sweep us away.
Let's sweep it away. Okay, good evening, everyone. It's such an amazing pleasure to be here today. I remember when Amy reached out to me, like first week in January, I'm like, what will I be doing? Nothing. I mean, I have to be here. And I'm glad I'm here. Yeah, so, and I'm glad I'm talking about a topic that I'm quite passionate about, which is romance. So I made a post. Can you all hear me, please? So that I know that, I'm clear enough. Can you hear me? All right, great. So I remember like 2 years ago, I had a conversation with two of my single friends. I made the post on Instagram today, and it was quite funny. Safe to say, both of them are still single. But let me jump to the conversation. They were both adamant, like, if a guy is not romantic, I am not going to have a conversation with him. And I'm like, okay, so are you saying romance is a deal breaker? A guy being romantic is a deal breaker? We went back and forth, and they were like, yes, a guy has to be romantic. Now, at the end of today's session, I would love everyone to have an idea of what romance really is. So Adebimpe says she can't hear me. I really hope it's only Adebimpe and not every other person. So if you can hear me, please just let me know if you can hear me. Ime, can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you.
All right, great. Okay, great. Okay, so now what is romance? Yes, is romance really overrated? Now, what is romance? Before we say if romance is overrated or not, I mean, we should have a proper definition of what romance is, right? Now, we have different definitions of romance. Some say romance is sexual intimacy. Some say romance is a way to show love. Some say romance is a guy's way of getting into a girl's pants. Some say romance it's all a gimmick, it's all a dream, it's all a lie. and some say romance is the deal, is the real deal, nothing else apart from romance. Now, what is romance? All right. So in a relationship, romance simply refers to the expression of love and affection between partners, right? Often including passionate feelings, thoughtful gestures, and actions that create a sense of excitement and connection. Now, romance is essentially signifying the loving aspect of a relationship beyond just companionship and commitment. Now, we are committed to each other, we are companions. However, romance is what makes, makes the friction keep at it. So now, after hearing this definition, let me ask you, is romance really overrated? I want answers, please. Now, after hearing that in a relationship, romance is like the friction, is what keeps the magnet glue. It's what keeps the relationship going. Do we think romance is overrated based on the definition? It would be nice to have, it'd be nice to have comments. Exactly. Because if romance, according to dictionary, says that it is the expression of love, so I love you and I want to express my love to you, right? That is what we call romance. So whatever myth you must have heard, whatever idea you must have gotten about what romance is, I think everybody needs to first dump it and pick up the real meaning. There are so many words out there that we don't know the meaning. So love is a feeling, right? Companionship is friendship. So you're with somebody based on different reasons, for different reasons. Some say for companionship, some say for friendship, which is still the same thing as companionship. Some say it's for love. But then we always say, oh, love is just a feeling that can be felt. How do they used to define that love? Love is a feeling that was felt, that can be felt, and stuff like that. So romance is what now keeps the relationship, the companionship, the love together, makes it exciting, makes it something that we look forward to, makes you have that butterfly in your stomach. It is romance. All right. So the answer to that question is no. Romance is not overrated. Thank you everyone for your answers. Yes, it is not overrated. However, now let me now go into the session. Okay, great. So do you know that it is interesting that we all have different understanding of the word romance? Like I said, after today, after this definition, we all should mind, drop it somewhere and pick it up, that romance is that gesture, that thing that I do, that expression of my affection for this guy, that thing that I say that includes passionate feelings, thoughtful gestures, and actions. That is what romance is. So once we know this definition and we are able to stand by it, it will be easy to understand what the real meaning of romance is. Now, like I said earlier, my own definition, that was dictionary definition. My own definition of romance is simply an act of kindness towards the person you love. Romance is an act of kindness towards the person you love. When you love someone, that is the person you're passionately in love with, right? You're just acting kind to them. So for instance, someone that loves you knows that you need a wristwatch and the person goes out of his way to buy that wristwatch. That is romance. Why? Not because I just feel like buying that wristwatch for you, because I know you need that wristwatch. So it's an act of kindness. A girl going out of their way to make a special meal for their man, just because, not because it's Valentine's Day or anything, just because it is because the person is romancing you. I don't want to get anything from you. I just want you to know that I love you. An act of kindness, a show of kindness. sorry. So when they do something that you cannot do for yourself, they are being romantic. Yes. So now I'm jumping ahead of myself, but that is my own definition. So it's an act of kindness towards you. Now, we all have different ways of expressing our love languages. I mean, we should all know what love language is. But right now, I want to say there's some key points about romance in a relationship, okay? And I'm going to talk about 4 different key points about romance in a relationship. The first one is expression of love. To express love is basically to actively demonstrate your love for your partner through words, through actions, and through gestures. All right? That is expression of love. Then the second key point about romance is that it is passionate and exciting. Romance can involve creating a spark or a thrill in the relationship, going beyond the routine. Do you understand? Going beyond the routine. So, like, oh, every day we sleep in the same house, and the wife comes home today and says, sweetheart, we're sleeping in an hotel. It's a thrill. So we go to the hotel, we don't have, nobody's cooking, nobody's stressing, we're ordering food, we're swimming. It's romance. It's an act of romance. I hope we're still together. Then the third key point I want to talk about is intentionality. Now, romance gestures are often deliberate. You will know this person is thinking about me. He is not just thinking about himself. That is romance. They act to show care and appreciation for your partner. So, like Nkonu was asking, yes, I want to show that I care for you. So you don't need to ask me. I know you need an iPad. I just go out, I see the iPad, I buy it and bring it. So for instance, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even okay, I'll slow down. So I mentioned expression, key points about romance. I said number 1, it is expression of love. Actively demonstrating your love for your partner through words, actions, and gestures. Now, under expression of love, we have sex for the married people. So you just decide to just give your body to your partner, create a romantic what's it called, da 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 da, in the house, because you just want to have sex and make love. Let me use the word make love. That's for the married people. For the single people, gestures like maybe take them out, maybe just send them massage, spa vouchers, and all those things. Gestures to show I care for you. All right. Now the second one is passion and excitement. Passion and excitement simply means creating a spark, a thrill in the relationship. Something, when they say, oh, organize date nights, when you're married, organize date nights once in a while. As singles, don't just sit at home, go watch movies, hang out with friends, go to the beach, and all those things. They are romantic gestures, okay? And then the third one I mentioned is intentionality. Being intentional about your partner's needs. Now, I'm using partner now because it is common that women think it is only men that should be romantic. No. Women, because of our nature, we are prone to be more romantic than men. But because we don't want to feel like, oh, we're doing too much or we want this, we'll now be pushing everything on the men for them to do for us. Women, we have to be romantic. We have to be passionate and exciting. We have to express our love. We have to be intentional about our partners, all right? About, showing care, appreciation. You just want to say thank you for being an amazing husband. You write notes, things that will just, somebody will just read and smile, okay? Then the fourth one is the individual interpretation. Now, what constitutes romance varies between couples, depending on your personality and your love language. This is where a lot of problems starts. This is the main place that the problem used to start. Individual interpretation of romance. Now, yesterday was Valentine's Day. Everybody did balloons, everybody did flowers, everybody did roses and all that. Someone like my husband will never buy me rose. Do you know why? Rose is too expensive, number one. Number two, it's going to spoil that day. He knows that for Eniola, romance means transfer. So if he's trying to be romantic, he'll send me money and say Happy Valentine's Day. That is individual interpretation. And because I know myself, I'm not going to be comparing myself with balloon and flowers. Because what am I going to do with that? Nothing. I'm just going to be looking at it. That is where the problem is. Individual interpretation is the most. My husband is watching. Okay, thank you for joining, sir. Do you understand? So I would not sit down and be comparing myself with flowers, balloons, and all whatnot. What am I doing with it? But we have a myth that is being romantic. It is not. It is not being romantic. It is their love language. And that brings me to examples of romantic gestures that we have. We have surprise gifts or dates. We have writing love letters. We have giving compliments. We have physical affection like cuddling and kissing. To some people, that is romantic. To some people, it is planning special experiences together. Let's go to this trip. Let's do this. Let's do that. Some people, it is small acts of kindness. Please, out of all of this, which one do you think is my own love language? Anyway, so basically, all that I just listed, they are all romantic gestures, right? And everybody likes one or two of it. I mean, sometimes you just want surprise gifts. Sometimes you just want love letters. You just want to wake up to your husband sending you a message or your boyfriend sending you a message and just writing, I love you. That's it. You know, all those kind of messages that your smile just move from here to here, and everybody will be wondering, what's going on with this madam? They will not know you just got one very sweet love letter. Some is giving compliments like, pay attention to my hair, pay attention to my nails, pay attention to this, pay attention to that. They are romantic gestures. Physical affection, like, oh, just come, let's just cuddle and all. That is for some people. And that comes to that's still under that individual interpretations. So I ask you, what would romance mean to you? Forget about what every other person is doing. What would it mean to you and why? Now, all of the above that I just said, they are tied to who you are and what your love language is. So because I said romance is not overrated, some people are wondering, it's not. Somebody, in fact, when I posted it on my status, like, plenty of people sent me a message and said, yes, it is overrated. Yes, it is overrated. I'm like, I think they don't understand, and I hope they are watching, because romance is not overrated. However, it is your expectations that is overrated. When you know that all you need is small acts of kindness, and then you're now expecting your husband or your boyfriend to come and be displaying money, bouquet, flowers, roses, and all those things. Why are you wasting your time? Do you understand? It's just little expectation that causes problems. All right. So now, like I mentioned, we have 5 different love languages. And I want to believe everyone in your community, you may knows their love language. However, if they don't, I'm going to share a link with you that you can share with them to take their love language test, okay? Because it is so important. Life is easy. Life is so easy. See, this life, it is so easy. It is comparison and lack of understanding that used to put us in trouble. Imagine there are 5 love languages, okay? And your husband, your partner has his own love language. You have your own love language. Now, coming together in a relationship as a couple, that is where romance comes in. So, for instance, we have acts of service. That is number 1 love language. We have gifts. We have words of affirmation. We have physical touch, and we have quality time. So let's assume a quality time and a physical touch meet. Do you think, please, I hope we're following, right? Do you think if a physical So let me explain. So acts of service, someone that likes someone doing stuff for them, like, oh, get me help me clean the house, help me cook, like, oh, you just say, oh babe, don't worry, I'll do the cooking for you. Help me do things that stress me. That is acts of service. That is just giving a surface explanation. All right. Then we have gifts. People that love gifts, like, just give me gifts, give me gift. It could even be pen, it could even be balloon, or it could even be suya. Like, I hope my husband has gone. Like, if he if he wants to marry me with suya. Just, it could be suya, it could be anything. As long as it's a gift, that's your love language. Once you get that gift like this, your head is turning, you are feeling loved, because that is what romance is. It makes you feel loved. Then there's words of affirmation. The words of affirmation simply means somebody that affirms you, somebody that tells you, oh, you look good, oh, you're beautiful, oh, I love your hair, oh, I love your nails. Baby girl, now you be this. Asanwa, nothing doesn't chop me, actually. But there are some people, they will die for it. Do you know your own? Then the third one is physical. The fourth one is physical touch. You just like being touched, cuddled, touched, not necessarily sex. Even singles, you just want him to hold your hand in the public. You want him to be hugging you, hugging you, hugging you. You don't feel safe until he does. Sorry, baby. You know, that is physical touch. All right. So that's your love language. So that kind of person, you just want to be in the house with the person, Netflixing and chilling, just watching movie and eating popcorn and all. Then we have the quality time. Quality time, we can stay together from morning till night. We might not talk, we might not do anything together. Just stay with me. That is quality time. So now imagine that we now have a quality time guy or a girl and a physical touch guy. Do you think their romance language, now let me use that word, their romantic language will be parara? Do you think their romantic language will be parara, parara, parara? See, those two combinations, if you leave them in the house from morning till night, they will, in fact, they will come out feeling so loved. Are we together? Then if you now say acts of service and words of affirmation come together, but if you now say gifts and maybe words of affirmation, cards, notes, and all that, they are different. All of them have different expressions. So, and it still comes to that individual interpretation of what romance is. I ask again, what is your own interpretation of romance? What is your love language? That determines your romance language. It is important to understand your romance language. It is so important to understand that your romance language is not the drama that comes with, public display of affection. It is important to know who you are, what your love language is, and what your romance language is, so that you don't give yourself headache. Now, let me say this. This love language, everybody has one part of everything. All right. There are days that gift is what is doing you. You just want somebody to give you gifts. And then just to state, this love languages changes per time. After a while, maybe you move from quality time to physical touch based on the situation of things and circumstances. So it changes, which means you have to constantly always check what you have right now. But then every one of us love every part of it. Yes, I say, oh, okay, I like a lot. But there are days that my husband will not buy me gifts, and I'll just be like, oh, the thought of it, it's just okay. But basically, the idea of knowing your love language and your romance language is to go back to the definition that says romance is the expression of love. The expression of love and affection. All right. We talk about married people. They say, oh, do you know, when I made the post today, most people that reached out to me and said romance is overrated, they are married people. Why? Because over familiarity had entered. It's singles that say, if the guy is not romantic, I'm not going for that. gives me, issues, because you cannot know if a guy is romantic fully until you're in a relationship with them, because it only makes sense for the guy to want to do PDA things with you when you are already in the relationship. I advise against a guy showing you romance just to get you to say yes. That is where the myth came from. The myth of saying, oh, it is a guy's way of getting into a girl's pants. All right. If a guy has to show you romance and what's it called, prove himself to be in a relationship with you, and based on his proving is why you accepted for singles, there is a problem. Because the problem is that it will reduce, and when you get married it will stop, and then you now feel like, oh, the guy was pretending to me or the girl was pretending to me. Now, if you're following me, please, can you write ways as a single person, as a single lady, ways you can show romance to your partner? And if you're married, ways to show romance to your partner. Now, married women, there's a lot of work. You have children, you have work, you have to feed the house, you have this. And they're like, oh, God, do I need to go the extra mile to make a grand gesture? No, you really do not need to go the extra mile to make a grand gestures. There are little things. The first important thing is, what is your partner's love language, and how can you meet him in the middle? So, for instance, now, I know some people that their love language is physical touch. You are married. Do you think you really need to go the extra mile to make the person feel loved? No. All you need to do is just carry your hand and be rubbing their head. After a while, you just see them feel relaxed, feel connected, feel, okay, yes, I am in love. You don't need to do, this one, that one. It's not necessary. Know your partner's language, know your own language, and just do the things that comes with it. Do the natural things that comes with it. There's no need to be extravagant. There's no need to go the extra mile for nothing, because the person might not even appreciate the extra mile you went through. And there's this thing that is common with married people. So for singles, all right, when you meet the guy, you are not so, the guy is the one impressing you. You just once in a while maybe cook for him, buy him stuff. Why? Because you still want toasting him. But once you marry, the guy is calm, because at last I already got what I want, and that's you. So let's continue in that line. And then the guy reduces the romance and is expecting you as the woman to also romance him, make him feel like a husband, make him feel like a king. He shouldn't be the one to be asking for sex every time. You should initiate sex. So if your husband's love language is touch, for instance, you don't need to say, oh, so every time I touch him leads to sex. Just cuddle, hug, find what works for him the best way and do it. That is romance. Because when you get married, the guy too is trying to do what you like. Any guy that is doing what you don't like simply means he doesn't know you. And there is always one problem we have. The problem that romance has, the major problem that romance has in this life, is that every man is stingy. And I don't mean male, I mean man and woman. We are selfish. We want to be loved the way we want to be loved. And we want to love our partner the way we want our partner to be loved, not the way our partner wants to be loved. So like I said, we all have different love languages. So let's assume your partner's love language is words of affirmation and your own love language is physical touch. Please, what do you think is the ideal way to love your partner? What's stopping you from actually writing love notes? Because that is what he loves or she loves. Why do I have to be the one, now say, okay, because my own love language is physical touch, I have to always touch him? No, you will meet him where his own love language is and expect him and teach him how to love you with your own love language. That is a major problem we have. That selfishness, that fact that we think, oh, I want him to love, especially men, right? Men do this thing, right? They just want to love you the way they feel you want to be loved. So for instance, a man will feel like, I don't need to give you attention. I don't need to be at home. Just take a lot. Just take money. Fine, money is good, but it's not money that I want. I want you at home. That is romance. It's as simple as that. It's not until you buy red flowers, red roses, red balloons, and all that. All things are for social media, as far as I am concerned. The real romance is in the house. The real romance is between two people coming together, being conscious of each other's love language, and consciously expressing, consciously, what's it called, bringing it to life, making each partner, making the person feel loved. That is romance. So now I ask again, is romance overrated? No. Is romance important? I'll wait for the answers. Now, when you have your answers, now ask yourself the honest question. Do I know my partner's love language, and am I loving him the way he wants to be loved? In loving him the way he wants to be loved, I will show him how to love me the way I want to be loved. I will show him how I want to be loved. I won't nag him into it. I won't force him into it. I will not, stress him into it. All I need is you to love me the way I want to be loved. And if these things are done, there will be no issues in marriages. In fact, marriage issues will be reduced because the guy is feeling like, okay, this girl understands me. I was watching a video yesterday about a couple, and the wife was like, it took them a while, but when she understood his language, everything has a language. You have romance language, you have love language, you have forgiveness language. If you offend me, this is how I want to be apologized to. Some people, they want you to come and tell them everything you did and now say you're sorry. Some, all they need from you is just say, I am sorry. Some, all they need is you need to go and do restitution. Go to where you did that thing and apologize to them. I want to see you that you have apologized to them. So now you can't force anybody to be anybody. Do you understand? You can't force a physical touch person to suddenly start liking gifts. It's not compulsory. And men do that thing a lot. They'll just say, I'm very busy. I'm very busy. Me, I want attention. I want you to stay at home. I want you to gist with me. Even if you're not staying at home, let's go out together and do things. Okay, you're going to work, I'll follow you. But the guy will just say, I'm not talking about me in personal life now. I'm just using it as an example. And the guy will just say, well, this work that I am doing is for us. Then you just send him one, take 1 million and go and do whatever you want to do. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't feel love. That's how you see some people in a seemingly okay marriage, and the wife is not happy or the husband is not happy. And you ask them, why? Why are you not happy? And they're telling you, doesn't love me the way I want to be loved. He's not romantic. He's not this, he's not that. This is simply put what it means. He's not loving me the way I want to be loved. So he's not putting attention. He's not being thoughtful. He's not being passionate about this thing. That is what it simply means. So, my dear sisters, I hope I've been able to convince you rather than confuse you that romance is not overrated. It is your intention, or should I say, it is your mindset. It is your expectation. It is the world's expectation, what the world has put out, what Mills and Boons have put in our head. When Mills and Boons write it, like, oh, he now entered with his shirt off, and then water now dripping down his chest, and you're like, oh, auntie, that is not romance. Imagination, because it doesn't work for nobody. It is just for magazine, for your imagination to go wild. You will now be expecting the unexpected. You now be expecting your husband to come in with shirt off, sweat, and a guy will just enter and just lie down and sleep. You will now say he doesn't love me. Watch your expectation. That is the only way to enjoy romance in your relationship and in your marriage. Thank you very much, everyone.
Wow, thank you so much. I just reminds me of secondary school. Yes, Someone said cartoons and movies don't do me shege. Wow, thank you so much. Please let's just give Eniola a round of applause. Let's thank her for sharing her wealth of knowledge. Now it's time for questions. Please, now it's the time to ask all the questions. Yeah, Okechi, come on. They're already calling your name. Come and ask all your questions, bro. Please drop your questions in the question icon. Or you can just drop it so that we don't miss it out in the chat. Let's ask questions. But pending when questions start coming in within the community, we had already had some conversations, and a lot of questions came up. And basically, the issue of sex came up. I don't know if I can say it because of Instagram. I don't know if they allow all that.
Now they not block us.
Instagram on their own. Me, not honestly, I don't know, Sha. Okay, since you said this, let me say. So a lot of issues came up. So I believe you've answered some. Like someone mentioned, how can a woman learn to spice up her marriage outside sex? So I think you've already answered that. Then someone else also asked, how do you explain romance to a virgin?
Okay. How do you explain romance to a virgin? Just like I said. So romance refers to expression of love and affection between partners. Now, does affection mean sex and all? No. So to a virgin, what is your love language? What do you love? How would you love to be there? Now, sex is a totally different thing because sex has to do with intimacy. So now when we're having a conversation on sex and intimacy, it is a totally different thing, all right? Because sex is just for 30 minutes, 1 hour, and you're done and you're back. Do you understand? So when you finish sex, what do you do? Do you get? So it is not romance. It is not in conjunction. It's just like an aftermath of romance. I mean, when somebody cooks, so for instance, a woman cooks for her husband now, cooks a very delicious meal, treats him like a king and all that, he will want to, reciprocate. The love tank is full. So all he wants to do is just to romance, to love up on her and make love to her and do whatever he wants to do. That is the result of romance. However, to a virgin, it simply means an affection between partners, including passionate feelings, thoughtful gestures. Like, what is your partner's love language? What is your love language? Can you write love letters? I mean, when we're in secondary school, we used to write love letters back. That was romance. That was romantic gestures. So did that mean we had sex with them? No. We were just expressing ourselves, giving compliments, planning special experiences together, making sure that we're together and all based on our love languages, based on what makes us feel loved. Exactly. So that is basic how to put it. I don't know if you understand.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a question from someone here. She says, please, ma, this issue of who initiates sex among couples, I feel some people are not confident to ask for sex, especially female gender. So how do one navigate this? And also, someone in the community asked a similar question. Um, how does a woman satisfy her romantic desires, like with regards to her sexual urges? So basically, people have this challenge about women maybe having a high libido and they don't know how to ask for it, supposed to initiate sex, and so how do we navigate that?
Okay, so first, let me correct it. Having a high libido is different from initiating sex. They're two different things, all right? High libido is a medical issue that needs to be worked on because high libido means that I want to have sex morning, afternoon, and night, and I'm not satisfied. So that needs to be looked into. But initiating sex means I love sex. I love the feeling of sex, all right? So I want to have sex with my husband. Now, the problem most women have is the failure to understand that they are one with their husband. The problem is, when you're dating or when the guy is toasting you, you've gotten to a comfortable space that you feel like the guy has to do all the work. No. When you get to a point you realize that you are actually one with your partner, it is easy to initiate sex. Simple. Oga, I want to do. Oh yeah, lie down, let's do. It's not hard. The worst case scenario, the guy will say, I'm tired. Can we move it till in the morning? It's no problem. In the morning, once it's 5 o'clock, you just gonna lie down on him. Sir, alpha, let's do. Because you are one. There's nothing to be ashamed of. There is nothing to be ashamed of. You are not a prostitute. You are not a whore. You're not an harlot for requesting for sex from the man that you married, that you are now one. So now the topic of oneness, I think is something you need to look into. We should probably have a session talking about oneness. We are one with your partner. When the Bible says now two have now become one, it is not in one part, it is in every part, which means your body is my body is your body. So whatever you do with my body, whatever you do with your body, that means you are doing it with my own body. We have become one. So why would I be ashamed to tell you lie down, let's do? Oga. Okay, this is Instagram live. Let me behave myself. Oga, lie down. What time are we doing? Some even have schedules. You sit down with your husband. Like, guy, okay, can we have a schedule? Since you don't want exactly naked and not ashamed. Yes. Because you can be naked with him. If he comes to you, you jump at it. So if he doesn't come, you will not go. I'll go. The worst case scenario, like I said, you say he's tired and you will understand. Because there are days it will come to you and you are like, I am tired. Now let's move it till the morning. But you not opening your mouth, have it at the brain back of your mind that we are one body, one soul, and one spirit. We have been joined by blood. We have been joined by water. We have been joined by the spirit. There is no separation. Do you understand? There is no separation whatsoever. So once you have that at the back of your mind, it's easy. Once you even tell yourself, I'm not a prostitute, the problem is, watch a lot of Nigerian films that, initiating sex, you say, she's a prostitute or she likes sex too much. Okay, I don't like sex too much. I love sex with you. I want to do it with you. So let us do it. Would you rather I go and do it outside? No. So let's do it. Plain and plain.
Thank you. Thank you for that. So another question, how can someone bring back their A game after childbirth? It feels like a button was turned off after childbirth. Some say it's the hormones, and some said it has to be forced. Abeg, help.
Okay, so after childbirth, right? There are a lot of issues that comes with childbirth. The medical issues, which means except maybe it's a CS or what's it called, vaginal birth. Most people that have issues coming back after giving birth are vaginal birth, maybe because that part has been tampered with. They don't feel anything when the guy is penetrating, and it's just not interesting to them now. There are two things you can do. There's the psychological part and there's the medical part. Go to hospitals. There's a tightening stuff that they used to give people. If you can use it, use it. And then psychological, you need to tell your sex is psychological. Sex is very, 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 very psychological. If it doesn't happen in your head, if it's happening in real life, you're not going to enjoy it. Because for you to have urges, for you to want to do it, means you've thought about it. You've thought about how to, how if it touches me like this, I'll just feel shit. You've thought about it. So if you don't think about it and it is happening, it's just going to be like dutiful sex. Like, let me just lie down and do this thing because I am tired and all that. So you need to pay attention to your body, go for body checkup, go and meet a D&G, what do they call them? O&G, do a body checkup, find what you can use to firm up, use what's that? All this Abuja stuff. Like there's this one sugar pill like that just excites you. Take plenty pineapples to help your hormone bounce back together, and you can just start flowing. I'm not a sex expert, so before that I have tried that have worked, but sex is very psychological. And if you're on family planning, you might want to remove it for a while, because family planning might also be the reason you're not interested in sex. It takes away the urges, it takes away your hormones, you're just not interested. So you might need to go off for a while and be taking the pills after sex, I've been morning after pills or something for a while, just to see how your body reacts and gets back. I hope I've been able to help.
Okay, yes, you have. I can't see any more questions in the comments, but one more question about this same issue. How often is a person supposed to have sexual urges? Please, how are we going to answer this one?
To your body, it comes to your partner. If your partner is good and you're feeling, hey God, but then there's something called self-control. You need to tell yourself what exactly is wrong with me. And like I said, if it is very bad, you might have to go to the hospital to check if you need to be on an injection or a pill or something just to reduce it. That's if it is very bad. However, how often do you initiate sex? You can see if you're married to someone that doesn't never initiate sex. So do you mean you're not going to have sex? You initiate sex every day you want it. As long as you initiate and it doesn't reject, you keep initiating. There's no big deal. They didn't write when they were writing the manual of Bible, they didn't say, and the husband shall be the one that will be calling the wife inside the room to do. They never said anything like that. So you initiate. So if your husband doesn't initiate, you will do it every single time. Every single time.
I like this question. This is a very good question. How do you manage romance in long distance relationship?
Hi, this one. So number one, disclaimer, I'm not a fan of long distance relationship because I just can't deal. However, just like I said, romantic gestures that we have surprise gifts, we have writing love letters, we have giving compliments, physical affection, planning special experiences, small acts of kindness, and all that. If you know you can't be present, like sometimes you can just up on the plane and jump and go. If you have that capacity, surprise him. That is exciting. Send gifts to him or her, like maybe other things in his environment. Make sure they deliver it to his house. Make sure you're constantly calling. Make sure you're always video calling. It is attention. Create a form of excitement. Let both of you be excited to speak with each other. Your conversations are not just the typical, how are you? What did you eat today? What are you doing? This one, that one. You create exciting conversations like, oh, I wore this dress today. What do you feel? Let him give you compliment. Let him feel like he's right there beside you. That is the only way you can maintain romance. Send gifts, write love letters, let him wake up to. So I had a friend, they dated for like 7 years, and it was a long distance relationship. And every day, and I'm not kidding, every day by 6 a.m., she wakes up to a text message from the guy. 6 a.m., she wakes up. So tell me how the excitement is not going to be there. Like, she's excited to wake up because she knows a text is waiting. The text that ends with I love you, and then in the night, they talk during the day, and then in the night, there's a text that says, good night, babe, I love you. Please tell me why I'm going to the excitement. Do you understand? So there's a deliberate act, and then you need to still know your husband's or your partner's love language for you to know which one works for him. Do you understand? If he's the type that likes compliments or acts of service, you can just send. So you can just help him get, okay, so one day he's complaining, oh, my house is so dirty, and all. You just get cleaning company and say, okay, go to his house and clean up for him. Do you think he's not going to call you and say, babe, did you do that? Oh my God. That's it. Exactly. Those kind of call.
So Ma, before we proceed to the next question, with regards to this, okay. with regards to this same issue of the long distance relationship, so you've talked about the other aspects, but I know one common challenge too is that sexual aspect. So if there is that long distance, maybe the person is abroad, for instance, how do they now handle the sexual aspect of romance?
Well, they decided to live separately. It's usually a decision. You know, they had a choice and they chose to, so they have to practice self-control. Simple. Romance. Self-control is there. I know some people engage in acts that I don't encourage, like doing video call and masturbating with each other and all those things. I don't encourage it because it's just like entering from fire to frying pan. Because one day the desires are not being killed, they are not being held. There's nothing private or precious about it again. One day the guy can feel like, oh, my baby's not available and I'm horny and all that, and go and find another girl and then start messing up the whole thing. So stop it and don't even engage in it. Then when you see it becomes a precious thing you're looking forward to. Self-control is a very important part of Christian romance.
Okay, thank you. Another question: how do you create boundaries romantically for those who aren't married? I believe this romantically may be the sexual aspect, because you've talked about the other one.
Because I was just going to say that romance is not sex.
Yes.
But talking about sex, creating boundaries, it's about knowing what you want. Now, tell people what to do or what not to do. The Bible already tells us that fornication, adultery is a sin. So you can choose to say, I do not want to sin. So, sir, this is our relationship, we are celibate. Or, I don't mind. Some people say, oh, I don't mind. It's not just sex. I will not judge. Listen, I judge, but that is if you are my mentee. If you are not my mentee, I don't judge. What you can do in that case is tell your partner this relationship is a no sex relationship. We can do every other thing. We can even be cuddling. Some people stay together without sex, without even seeing each other's nakedness. If you can control yourself, fine. But you have to stand on your ground when you know that you really do not want to have sex. It comes first from being self-aware, knowing in your own heart why I don't want to have sex. The major reason people fall is because they don't have their why. Churches tell you not to have sex, or pastors tell you not to have sex. They don't tell you why. Now, you need to now know your why. Why do I want to remain celibate? Why don't I want to have sex again? Your why is what will drive you to create that boundary. It's your reason. Some people tell themselves, like me, I told myself, I said, you know what? No, I am done. I am not having sex before marriage. I set some rules down. I said this and this and this are the things that will happen. So when I met my husband, the first thing is I reminded myself why I wanted to be celibate. Of course, fine guy and all that, you want to eat him raw and all that, but I was like, no, I know why I said it. So the first thing I did, went to introduce him to my pastor, became accountable to my pastor. I said, this is this relationship that I want, and I don't want to do this. So if I do it, I'm not going to marry this guy. So because I know I want to marry this guy, I will not do it. That was my why. That was what drove me. So what is your why? And your why is how you'll be able to create clean boundary and stick to it. I hope I've really answered the question, please.
Yeah, I think there's one more, Ma, before you leave. How can one spot genuine romance? Because there are cases of people who use this to manipulate their partner, and that has affected their mental and emotional state.
Okay, so I'm not sure you joined when I was saying this thing, that number one of the myths about romance is that it is a guy's way of getting into a girl's pants. It is a guy's way of showing of sexual intimacy. It is all a gimmick. That is some myths about romance. So now, and I said, if a guy has to show you romance before you start dating him, then you have already started on the wrong note. So if the guy has to buy you gifts, shower you with love before you say, yes, I do, or yes, I'm interested in you. Romance is for people already in a relationship. So we are already together and we're trying to romance ourselves in a way that will help us, make the love grow. So I am already in a relationship with you and I want to make you feel loved. I want to make you feel excited. I want to make you feel connected. And, the fact that I want to make you see that I love you, that is in the relationship, in the marriage, not before. So now for those manipulators, yes, there are men that have practiced it. It has become a part and parcel of their life. They do it, but they only do it to those that are allowing them to do it before you're in a relationship with them. So they see a greedy girl. You are greedy. Somebody's buying you iPhone. You are not in a relationship with the person. You are not, committed to the person. You are not engaged to the person. Somebody's buying your iPhone 16 Pro Max and he's telling you this, obviously he just wants to have sex with you. He just wants to do and go. He's not interested in keeping you. However, you guys meet, you go on a date, both of you talk. There's no impressing, talk. After a while, you realize, okay, I like this person. Now we're in a relationship. Now that we're in a relationship, let me buy you iPhone because now I feel a sense of responsibility to make you feel special. Do you understand? Like, that is how it is. So for people that have been manipulated, number one, it's either because they were greedy before the relationship and the guy was just doing everything he knew how to do to get into their pants. And nowadays I hear that once the guy sleeps with you, you're already in a relationship with the guy. I don't know if that's true, but that is what I heard. And if that is the reason, then there will be so many manipulators. And women will keep being an emotional wreck because they keep meeting guys for the wrong reasons. So I don't know if I answered your question, but the only way you can spot genuine romance is by starting off on a good note. Try and get to know the person you're talking with. Your talking stage, get to know the person. It's not the time to collect gifts and have huge expectation. It's the time to get to know the person. What is the person's do? What is the person don't? What is the person's drive? What makes the person happy? Who is the person at home? What family values does he have? Know his values, know everything. That way you're not rushing into things. So that by the time you start a relationship, you're starting a relationship with somebody you know. Most times we just jump into it and say, oh, he looks like my kind of guy. And then 2 weeks later, the guy has slept with you and he's moving on. You're like, oh, he broke my heart. It didn't break your heart. He was not interested in being in a relationship with you in the first place. He just wanted to do and go. So that is the best way. Get to know the person and have your own reason, have your own stand. What can you take? What can't you take?
Thank you so much, Mrs. Eniola Peters. Thank you so much. Is another question still coming? Okay. This is going to be our last question for tonight. Okay, people is saying, how do you streamline your relationship towards purpose and maintain the romance part of it, especially before marriage? How do you make the talking stage worth it without it seeming like an interrogation?
Okay. Talking stage is an interrogation stage, by the way. I want to get to know you. So there'll be plenty questions. There'll be plenty FBI work. There'll be plenty um, putting your nose on the ground to smell what any little thing. That is talking stage. Because at the talking stage, the guy is not trying to impress you as much as when you're already dating. Now, talking stage is different from dating, and dating is different from relationship. Now, talking stage is not at liberty to take you out. You guys are just talking. So you're just on the phone. Maybe once in a while, you just hang out somewhere. Dating means now I am getting to know you because I am interested in dating, being in a relationship with you. So I take you to restaurants. I take you to my family house so that you can meet my family. I take you to my friends. I take you to my church and things that matter. Then once I am now sure that, okay, true, this is the person I want to be with, now you can now start a relationship that now intends to lead to marriage. Okay, so imagine if you're going through the talking stage and dating stage and you don't know this person because you're ashamed to ask questions. When you get into a relationship, you're going to be in a mess. I had a friend that dated a married man for 3 years because she was afraid to ask him if he was married. I don't judge her, I don't blame her. But she said she noticed this guy, there was always something wrong. Like when he gets home by 8 p.m., his phones are off. And she was considering it that I think this guy is a married man, but she couldn't open her mouth to ask. And the time she got the nerve to ask, she posted the guy's picture and somebody chatted her up and said, so you two, you know him. I was just in his house with his wife and his kids. So, to avoid matters that hurt the stomach, ask questions. Yes, it is the time to interrogate. Trust me, you will be happier for it. Now, how do you streamline your relationship towards purpose and maintain the romance? It is how you start. So in the talking stage and the dating stage, you have made it known to the guy, this is who I am. I don't want this. This is what I intend to be in life. This is where I intend to go. This is my purpose in life. Now you tell me your purpose. Now you tell me your path. You tell me your destiny. It is the time to talk, not the time to kiss. It's the time to talk, not the time to joke around. Dating time, we sit down, we are talking. Guy, alpha. So how many children do you want to have? Where do you intend to settle down? Are you the type that used to japa? Do you pay your tithes? Now, yes, I used to tell my mentees, okay, asking direct questions, my same, like an interview. So thank God there are memes on Instagram. Just send a meme. There are so many memes that you can use as discussion for you to know the kind of way he thinks. You just send a meme one day and something, maybe there's a controversy on tithing or something. You send it to him and say, hey, can you imagine? What do you think? He will tell you exactly what he thinks. And if after telling you exactly what you think, you are giving him excuse, then you are the one to be blamed. If someone says, oh yes, so tithe, those pastors, they're just collecting your money, and you still go ahead and marry that kind of person, you will never pay tithe. In fact, you stop going to church after a while. That's how it works. Because men talk. Yes, if it sounds like an interrogation, they might not answer. But there's so many other ways to go about it. You're watching a movie where a guy is cheating on his babe. You just ask him casually, hey God, this relationship these days, like how can a man be cheating? He will tell you exactly how it is in his head. He'll say it. He can say, what's there? What's wrong with cheating? Is it not the wife? Just know that you are in serious trouble if you end up with that kind of person. So to streamline your relationship towards purpose, you need to start from the dating period. From the moment you realize this guy is interested in being in a relationship with me and I also like him, start. So this relationship, I've already told myself, I'm not going to have sex with anybody till I get married. Yes, I've done it in the past, but I understand that to be pure, all things are pure. God has made me pure. I am now pure. So I am not doing again. No, you what do you think? If he says, it's going to be hard though, it's up to you. If he says, okay, well, we can try it now. I mean, it's not really a big deal. Run, because those people that say it's not a big deal. One day on Valentine's Day. Let me leave it that way. I hope I've been able to answer your question before you may say I like talking too much.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, Mrs. Eniola. Thank you everyone for joining us today. And I really hope that we will be able to learn from our conversation today. Thank you so much, Ma, for sharing everything you have shared with us. We appreciate all that you do.
Thank you so much, Yume, for having me, and thank you to the community women. They've been so amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. So wishing us all a happy Valentine's. I'm still Valentine, Abby. It's still Valentine's Day.
Okay, let me answer. Sorry, let me just answer this question. The dating stage. What do you think of ladies dating multiple persons at a time? You are free to date one person because you're only going out with them. You're not having anything special with them. You're just getting to know them. It's a date. Oh, I want to take you out. It's okay. But once you know that you have started liking one person in a particular way, I think you'll be better, sensible to reduce communication with other ones so you can focus and stop getting distracted. Because it's distraction that now comes with you now saying A has car, B has bike, C has leg, D has this one. You will now be so confused. But once you see that you're already tilting towards one, drop the others. But yes, or should I say it's okay to be in a talking stage with multiple people? Yes, it's okay to be in a talking stage with multiple people. But when you start going on dates and you start seeing one that you like, drop the rest and focus on one. Thank you, Peaceful Brown. Thank you so much. I enjoyed the session.
Thank you everyone for joining in. I appreciate your presence and I hope you were able to learn from it. So see you on our next IG Live next month. Thank you. Have a lovely weekend. Bye.